and welcome back to another episode of Girls on Deck. We are in the midst of March Madness. Now, this has been a pretty crazy one with a lot of unexpected upsets, and now we have finally entered the Sweet 16. Again, I am joined by Hannah Russo and Okelo. This is his first time on Girls on Deck. How's it feel to be here, Okelo?
Man, Kayla, for a long time I've been wanting to come on the show, and I'm glad that we get to do it. I know that March we get the madness, it's Women's History Month. We get a plethora of so much goodness. So I'm just glad that I'm able to finally get some time to talk some basketball with y'all and dig into all the craziness that the dance has brought us.
I'm definitely excited to start talking about it. But you said earlier that this is the last show you had to complete before you finished. You've been on every show now in the Hitting the Field network. So I'm glad that we were the last ones.
No sweat. I'm glad to do this, Kayla. Y'all been doing great work. And like I said, I'm sorry it took forever, but better late than never, as the old saying goes.
No, you're all good. We're so excited to have you. So let's get right into it now. I think this March Madness kind of started off with a big upset. Oral Roberts had beat out Ohio State. Now, let's talk about that. What did you think? Were you absolutely surprised? I know literally everyone on Twitter is like, I had to Google where that was. I don't know what that is. And there's memes everywhere. I mean, it was absolutely crazy.
In the famous words of Snoop Dogg, I had to go, who? Like, where did this school come from? And the fact that they had to, they just popped out of nowhere. But this is what March Madness always brings about. If you remember, Kayla, 2013, we had FGCU. You and I are from South Florida. We didn't even know where that was until somebody said, it's in Fort Myers. This is what I always love about the March Madness tournament. You always have these type of schools that come from the middle of nowhere and then just come out and shine on this biggest stage, get this national attention. They just didn't beat Ohio State. They also beat Illinois. Okay. They beat, if you excuse me, I think it was Illinois they beat, but they beat some big time school. And I'm like, man, just like Florida, they beat Florida. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, again? Like, this is what you love, man. And, like I said, that school, they're coming out of nowhere. And, who knows if they can make that Cinderella run. But this is nothing that nobody, not even myself, because I'm one of the thousands and millions and hundreds of people whose bracket was busted by this school. So no doubt about it, this team has been on an incredible run.
No, absolutely. I mean, again, just very shocked. I feel like that's been the trend is these teams where you're like, where is that? Who goes there? So I think that's definitely been a trend this season.
Yeah, and the best part about it all is this is their second time going into the Sweet 16 because their last time was when they won their first NCAA tournament in 1974.
You see, that way before my time, but like I said, for that school to do what it's done, I mean, I think, waiting 2 years for this has been the most fun, even under the circumstances that we're in.
Absolutely. Considering where we've come from last year where March Madness was canceled to now, it's nice to see that hype back together. Everyone has a bracket, even if you don't know anything about it. It's just fun to make one. So, so do you have any brackets still intact before we continue?
Not really, but at least I could say that my prediction so far of the two teams that I expect to go all the way to the Final Four and hopefully in the championship, I'm just happy for Michigan. I've been telling people, despite they lost their star point guard, I was like, look, man, you can't disrespect Juwan Howard and the hard work that these Wolverines, they literally have put the Big Ten on their backs, literally, as every big team seems like they get eliminated. Iowa, Rutgers and Illinois, unfortunately, these Michigan Wolverines are showing that this is their year. They're well coached, and I was happy with the result on Monday night when they came up and took down the LSU Tigers. And and this is what I expect. Like, despite this, Michigan has been a team that has been here before. They know how to do it. They've always had one guy that has stepped up in the critical positions, and they have a great coach who's, by the way, played in so many of these tournaments himself as a player that he knows what it takes to get it done. And also, I'm excited for the Houston Cougars. Like I said, a team that I predicted that would do it. They were dominant in the American. They came out and they've shown out well. So I'm at least happy that my two teams are still standing, at least for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's not to say, again, this is a team, or a year of surprises, definitely. So what did Illinois was a team that everyone was shocked that got eliminated. Now, what did you think of that game? Where do you think they went wrong or the other team went right?
Look, Loyola Chicago pounced, Kayla. I think it's just that simple. When you have a team that is overconfident, sometimes you just have to take. I mean, they Loyola got off to a fast start, and that's what takes most of the times when you're on a fast break in a big time game like that to be able to come out and show out. And I just think Illinois just thought like this was just an easy, like we're just gonna walk into the arena and get the dub. And I think Sister Jean, like God bless her soul, she must have said a good prayer to the team that got them fired up. So I think Sister Jean had something to play with it, other than just the fact that Loyola, again, very experienced team, counted out underdog type team in every tournament that they've been in. They seem like they're just ready to show up and show out and ready to play the underdog role. Even though, could you say that they're an underdog anymore? They seem like they're right up there within the high rankings now in college basketball. They're not a Duke or Kansas or Kentucky or North Carolina by any means, but I think for future tournaments like this now, we can't consider them an underdog. They're going to be hungry. They're going to play fast. And, they just took advantage of Illinois offensively and defensively, shut down some of their big stars. And, they just easily took it down to the wire. And that's what you expect all game long.
Do you think it could have been Illinois' overconfidence, that they were I believe the number 1 seed at the time? So
They were.
So yeah, do you think it was an overconfidence thing, or again they just got outplayed?
Again, it's a mix of both. I think when you think of Illinois, you think of big powerhouse, you think of big dog. We come from the Big Ten. This small little Midwestern country cousin school, from the other side of Illinois, that's nothing really to us. We feel like we could come into the arena. So for Illinois, I think it was just that, and the fact that Kayla, they haven't been much into the tournament. Granted, they have a lot of stars. They got a couple stars that are going to go to the NBA for sure. But this is, again, it showcases experience versus talent. And when you've been in these situations before, like Loyola have been, compared to Illinois, where I can't necessarily even remember the last time that they were in the tournament. Last time I remember them being relevant in basketball was 2008 when they were in the Final Four. I was in 5th grade at that time. So, I was disappointed to see the Illini because, there was little hints that I was seeing around, like saying this is their year because 89, 05 and then 16, they were able to get there. But yeah, that just goes to show you never count out any team regardless where they're from.
Exactly. I agree with that. Do you think, though, for Illinois going into next season, this is going to hinder their performance, or it's just going to be something else that pushes them to get back there and will push them into the Final Four because they're going to want to fight for it?
Well, I think, Hannah, it's a lot of motivating factors. I mean, you look at like a team for Virginia, for example, who got beat by a 16th seed and went on to win the national championship the next year. So, but for Illinois, they're going to have to not only deal with that hindrance and especially how competitive the Big Ten is, but you also have to take a look into a factor that they're going to lose some guys to the NBA draft. So it's a matter of who can you be able to recruit, who can you be able to get back into the fray to compete, because the Big Ten, as of right now, only big dog is Michigan until further notice, until maybe we see new recruits come in for every other team that's there. But it's going to take a lot for that program to recover from a loss like that. But if history has shown, you can get knocked down, but it's a matter of how you get back up. And, the program has a great coach. They got a great foundation. They just need to be able to recuperate their losses and be able to make sure that not only they compete high, maybe repeat as Big Ten champions, but allow themselves to never take an opponent down lightly. And I think for every team, they could even ask Virginia, like I said, again, you can never take an opponent lightly, even if you were the previous year national champions. They learned that against Ohio. So we'll see if history tends to repeat itself again.
I think that's the beauty of college basketball too. College sports in general, you can't rule out any team and especially in this March Madness season, everything's unexpected. I think that's what keeps it exciting. That's what makes everyone like it. It's kind of like a holiday for people. So I think that's the enjoyment. And now Loyola will now play Oregon State, 2 teams that have been the upsetters in March Madness. Now, who do you think takes that game and why?
Wow. Can I just say Oregon State is the bane of my bracket being busted because I thought Tennessee was going to smoke them. And yeah, this one, This one's the real kicker right here, Kayla and Hannah. I gotta tell you what, because you girls know as co-host of bets, my job is to make sure that everybody gets theirs and they're winning. So for this one, I'm asking Sister Jean to bless my bracket at least for what's left of it, and say Loyola Chicago gets it done. They're going to the Elite Eight. This is an Okelo guarantee. So I promise you all, if you all watch bets, that they ain't going to be broken this time because I got Sister Jean's blessing. So I'm going with the Loyola Chicago Wolves, and to be able to advance to the Elite Eight. Like I said, experience over the talent and over the upsetters. So I will go with Loyola.
Bold prediction. Hannah, do you have any?
I was also going to say Loyola. They had great defense the other night when they were playing Illinois, so I'd like to see it again, and hopefully they can do the same thing with shutting down their offense and just making the guards or whoever has the ball at that point in time just think otherwise and push back and keep moving.
Absolutely. Now, I want to talk more about this, but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will be continuing this March Madness discussion. Stay tuned.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
And we're back with Girls on Deck in this crazy March Madness discussion. Now we have another guest who's joined us, Noah Kemper. Now we've been talking with Okelo a little about it, but what are your overall thoughts of this March Madness?
I think this has been one of the craziest March Madness tournaments ever, as this year, this bracket has had the most upsets in the opening 2 days than any other bracket. So it's March and it's back, and it's just going to get crazier from here.
Yes, and we were just finished having a discussion about Loyola and Oregon State. Now, Okelo has one bracket to hold on to here, and he's hoping that Loyola takes it. Now, who do you think wins that game?
I think Loyola will have the edge over Oregon State. They played very good against Illinois. They showed their aggressiveness on defense, and I think they have what it takes to make it to the Elite Eight, even and maybe another run to the Final Four like in 2018.
Now, Okelo or Noah, you just talked about the Elite Eight. Now, who do you think after this weekend makes it there? Who's your number one team that you think it's a no-brainer, and maybe one that you think will shock everybody and make it there?
Oh, no-brainer. I think it's Michigan. Michigan has played lights out this entire season. They played lights out in the tournament. They haven't really had a close game. When they were down to LSU, they showed that they can play more aggressive, lock up on defense. So I think Michigan is the no-brainer. A team that could surprise you, I think it's Loyola Chicago. I really do. I think they will get the win over Oregon State. And either if they play Syracuse or Houston, I think they have the team to make it to the Final Four. Another trip, just like in 2018.
Yeah, for me, I think a no-brainer is Gonzaga. I think undefeated, top to bottom. They've just continued to be dominant. I'll say for a surpriser, I'm going to go out of bounds on this one, but I'm going to go for the UCLA Bruins. I think a team that, got into the tournament last minute, taking a upset over Michigan State. And then the way that they've just come up out of nowhere, beating Abilene Christian. And now they're going to face, to the surprise of some people, at least in this sport, the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide. Okay. Not in football, but in basketball. Okay. And the fact that Alabama, to the surprise of everybody, is a number 2 seed. I'm going to take the school that has more tradition, okay, to go with it. And, for 11 to take down number 2, I think it might be a surprise. The Bruins have come up. They played extremely well. Like I said, they're a team that got in last minute, but they've continued time and time again to show up and show out. And some of their guys have stepped up. I mean, I look at a guy like Cody Riley. I mean, he scored the second highest teams on the point, 12 points. And then my guy right here, I mean, Johnny Jusnag. I mean, this kid, he could literally be a steal in the draft. And I'm not just saying that because he was born the same day as my sister, but I definitely like the second team all honors sophomore forward. I think he's been an absolute playmaker offensively and defensively, and he's going to be a key to why the Bruins shock the world and go to the Elite Eight.
Noah, do you agree with that? Do you think the Bruins could take it?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I really don't see Alabama losing this game. I honestly myself was shocked that the Bruins have made it this far, but I don't know if they have what it takes to keep up with Alabama.
I think they will, Noah. I mean, like I said, you're talking about literally the school that has been to the dance before. Now, granted, it's new coaches, new schemes, all that extra stuff. But when you're talking about the team that has one of the most national titles in college basketball, who's been there before, you can hear the story with John Wooden. They know how to do this. The magic is there. The Bruins are gonna make the run. They don't need Shareef O'Neal. They don't need Lonzo Ball. They don't need no special nothing. This team has the magic, and I feel like Alabama is just playing fool's gold to people, and I'm not letting my bracket get busted anymore. You can bet on that. One pinky, one finger, one love.
I mean, I'd love to see Bama lose, so I hope you're right.
I can't love Bama in any other sport, so they got to go away for basketball.
Yeah, keep them from winning another title.
Could you imagine if they actually win a national championship in football and basketball? I think I'm going to be sick.
Too much. Too much.
They just won a gymnastics national title, so they don't need a third this year.
Of course they did.
I don't know what Bama's got going on, but I don't know how they're consistently this good in just everything they do.
They just breed them differently, I guess.
Yeah, they're bred differently. Now, Noah, do you have a bracket still remaining intact? I don't know if I asked you this already.
I do not. I don't know if anyone does. I think almost every bracket's busted, but I have made one that was able to go pretty far. Because I did have Oral Roberts making it past the first round in one bracket with Maximus. He showed that he cannot miss, as he was able to beat Ohio State 75-32, beat Florida by 3, and so that's a great Cinderella story right there. But some teams like Abilene Christian, I don't know if anyone saw that coming, beating Texas in the first round, or Ohio making it all the way here. There's just some games you just never see coming. So I do not have a perfect bracket.
It definitely sucks.
It does.
I'm just happy. Like I said, Michigan and Houston are where they need to be. And like I said, I hope that at least my national championship will be correct. I need some money. Not all of it, but some of it.
Can't be a total loss. You're the co-host of Bets. What you can't be wrong.
I mean, you ask Sean, you ask Rob, Nick. They always say I'm wrong, but I lie for you before I lie to you. So I always make sure I try to get winnings.
Pena, do you want to ask another question?
I just have a few general questions about like any team, whether it's an upset or whether they're still playing in the Sweet 16 and then hopefully moving on to the Elite Eight. But how are programs, focusing on an upset, how are programs that were just short of qualifying for the Sweet 16 learning from watching these other teams succeed? Like, what are they going to go back and watch on the film to implement next year?
Oh, that's a good question, Hannah. I think you have to look at, because every school is different every single way, but you have to look at some teams. Like, for example, I'll start off with Texas Tech, a team that I thought was going to get back into the swing of things, even though it's been a prolonged period for the Red Raiders, being in the national championship 2 years ago. I thought that even though, despite the layoff, that they would be able to have the best advantage because they were the runner-up. They know how to win it. And, unfortunately, you have a team like Arkansas who, was surprisingly good and just came out of nowhere and shot them all. And the Red Raiders had a great opportunity to win at the final seconds, tie the game, send it into overtime, but they relapsed. I think for some of these teams, you just have to hit the reset button because, like I said, players are going to come and go. The coaches are going to stay there. So it's just a matter of making sure to implement the system. And the thing about college basketball, I think that we all can agree, is that nothing's ever the same. Like Drake, nothing was the same. And, you have to adapt every single year because you always have teams within your conference, within your division, that come out of nowhere. And that also deals with recruiting. How do you be able to sell to the program? So it's just a matter of sticking to your game plan, adjusting things as they go, because you do have nuanced teams that just come up, especially when they come into a conference tournament and surprise everybody like a Georgetown. So it's just a matter of getting that type of momentum booster from either the loss or the experience of your team from February to that point in March to be able to just come up and fire up the guns for next season.
Now, being that, last year March Madness was canceled with COVID, and every state has different rules. Florida is a little less strict, whereas other California states like California a little more strict in the way that they handle things. Do you think that's affected maybe the way teams perform, maybe because they couldn't get that much practice in as a team, or just the restrictions with that? Do you think that could possibly have affected anything?
Yeah, I think so. I think, we all look at like a lot of sports, and like most of teams during the summer or during that time frame didn't have training camps. They didn't have the ability to have a full implemented off-season program, as well as coaches recruiting. The recruiting had to shift to online. So not a lot of talent evaluation. So you're basically blindfolding yourself and just throwing a dart and see what sticks. So I think, hopefully this season, depending on circumstances, hopefully as things, gradually improve, teams will likely have that more access and get back to a normal thing, but they can also take away some things that they've been able to learn from this time period. But you look, for example, like a team like Duke, for example, in North Carolina, they really had a hard reset button because, again, they had a lot of guys that went to the draft. They didn't have much time to prepare, mini camps, training camps, all that. And then you come in and you see what happened this season, and it was an absolute train wreck. Way too many freshmen, didn't know what they were doing. Like I said, not knowing Coach K's system, not knowing Coach Roy Williams' system. And it was like I said, you're setting in blind mice to run something and expect things to fall through. So the teams that have been lucky enough to keep their nucleus together were the ones that had the advantage in this tournament, as you see with teams like Baylor and Villanova, for example. So I think, hopefully with the experience of the season, that you'll see teams come back into the fray and be able to do it. But, a lot of programs like Florida and Kansas, they need to look at a hard selves in the mirror, especially Florida. There's been signs that they want to fire their coach. I mean, Kansas, they got smacked by USC bad. And that's not usually Kansas basketball when it comes to this tournament. So a lot of teams, they need to focus on, how do they overcome this, as well as the fact that what do they got to do with now getting back into the swing of things, of training camp, of an off season, of recruiting, to be able to take advantage and be able to get back into their winning ways. Some of them have to hit the reset button, but it's different. But a lot of teams, they're just going to have to, men in black it, move on, and try to get ready for next season.
Yeah, I don't think next season there's no more excuses. There's no more, it was COVID, because now we're getting back, hopefully into a normal swing of things. And next season we're going to want to see those teams, like you said, it's a team like Kansas or something, go back to where they should be.
Like living up to their name again and playing to their key players' strengths.
Mm-hmm. Now, to wrap it up a little bit, now I know, Okelo, you said your final two, Houston and Michigan, you think?
Yes. The Cougs, they've been pawing up all season long. So I got to shout out Jeremy Brenner on this one because, former Houstonian, at least one thing's going up in Houston. So I think the Cougs keep it going.
Do you think it's a close game, or do you think it's
against Syracuse, another powerhouse basketball program? Like I said, they have been a team that I don't know where they came from, because it seemed like they were down and out at the start of this thing. But I got to tell you what, this dude, Buddy Boeheim, if Houston can't stop him, it's going to be a long evening for the Cougars, and the Orangemen are going to take advantage. But expect this to be a close game. I expect it to be just as close as what they played with West Virginia. Syracuse is known for playing really strong defensive basketball. But like I said, Buddy Boeheim, when he gets hot, you could just feel the Orange crushing on the opposition. But like I said, I just feel it this year that this is Houston's time. I mean, they played a hard one against Rutgers, again, a really good opponent. But like I said, they have Geo Baker, who I think is an absolute superstar. And like I said, it's going to be a battle of those two guys duking it out offensively, defensively, and we'll see who comes out on top. But I got to go with the red and white in Houston winning this one.
Okay. Noah, do you agree or disagree?
I actually disagree. I think it's gonna be Michigan and Baylor. I honestly, after seeing Houston struggle against Rutgers, it showed a sign of weakness that they had, and I honestly think Syracuse can make it to the Elite Eight. So I have to go with Michigan and Baylor, the two teams that have looked so far unstoppable in the tournament.
Now you say Baylor, Noah, but have you forgotten that they got to get over Villanova, the team that has won 2 of the last 4 national champions, the would-be dynasty of the 2010s? You really gonna doubt the Wildcats right now? Because this is their baby. Their head coach has been dancing all the time long. I ain't counting out them Wildcats, baby. I think they're gonna upset these Baylor Bears.
I don't know. I think Baylor's going to keep on dancing.
I just can't see it. Like I said, Villanova, they don't have their star, but darn it, they're just as good. They're just as talented. Like I said, you're not a team that wins 2 of the last 4 national championships and think you're going to slow down quietly against a supposed really great team like Baylor. And I feel like Baylor got a little shook after the Big 12 tournament, the tournament that they were supposed to win, got beat by Oklahoma State, who's not even in the tournament now. So it's like, what do you see? I got to go with the team with the best experience. And I always think, like, in the wild, the Wildcat can easily take down a Bear. So Villanova snacking big time on Saturday.
Yeah.
So wait, what do you think Baylor's going to really bring out to cancel this Wildcat that Okelo's really passionate about over here, Noah? What do you think Baylor's going to do?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be up to the high tempo offense that Baylor can bring, because I've watched them in the Big 12. I've seen them, compete against Kansas, Oklahoma, West Virginia. And it's the same thing. They're always able to bring this high powered offense. And I just don't see Villanova really keeping up. I just don't. I think if Baylor can force enough turnovers, get out in transition, I think that eventually they can pull away late in the game and make it up to a finals run.
I mean, time's gonna tell. It's all happening soon. So it's funny that because you said Houston, he said Baylor, and you both are like, no, they're not even making it to the Elite Eight. So we will have to see this weekend, I guess. But bold predictions now. Noah, in the end, who do you think it is against Baylor?
I think Michigan will beat Baylor.
Michigan will beat. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is a fun March Madness topic now. It's almost over as March ends, but it was definitely an exciting one this season.
Yes, I can. All right. Thank you, Okelo, for joining us for your first episode of Girls on Deck. And Noah, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you to talk more about what's going on in the sports industry next week.
The MLB season start next week. That's your
That's
hang in there. You got one more week. One more week.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Sorry again for being late too.
No worries at all. It happened.
Look, I'll definitely come on talk about MLB because I gotta talk about how the Yankees gonna win it all this year. All right.
Hey,
yes,
I like it.
Yes, they are.
We all know it. This is our year. No more cheating. No more getting jolted at the championship altar. It's my time. Knock on wood.
Get down in the final. No more Red Sox.
No more Red Sox. No more Astros. No more Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Just wait till Giancarlo hurts himself again. Then you're not going to be speaking the same thing.
Yankees.
God, I hope he doesn't.
With our pitching core, we got Cole, we got Chapman, we got everybody.
All right, let's see if your pitching can keep up with 3 Cy Young Award winners on one team. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
About that, but I have faith in our outfield. They field pretty well.
Got Gary Sanchez. We got Brent Gardner back in the fold, baby.
No,
Come on
look,
now.
as
DJ's
much as I
back in
don't,
second.
as much as I don't like the Yankees, and I think the Dodgers will win it all again, but
Hell no.
as much as I
Nah.
don't like the Yankees, I think this is
What?
their
Hell,
I
Kayla,
would
first
love-
off, hell no.
I would love to see a Yankees Dodgers World Series. That would be
That would be
my
good,
dream team.
but I either think it's going to be Yankees Braves or Yankees Padres.
Okay. You think the Padres can make it out this season?
They got everybody. They got Darvish. Fernando Tatis is going to be an MVP this year. Like, what else they going to do?
I think the Dodgers just have it in the bag. I don't know. I think they make it back. I don't know. I really think this could be the year for Yankees Dodgers World Series, honestly. So
I've
I just-
been
I hope
hoping
the
that
Dodgers make it to the World
2016.
Series just to lose to the
Yeah.
Yankees.
I want to see the Braves though. I feel like Ronald Acuna. This is his time, man.
no, I would love to see the Braves make it there. You know, I mean, I feel pitted against right now. Y'all are rooting for the Yankees.
That's my team, Kayla. I've been
Always.
born and bred a Yankee.
I'm bringing this exact group back in the middle of the season, and I hope the Dodgers are winning so I can just be like, haha, told you guys.
and it's still recording, so we have the clip.
Oh my God, we have it. Yo, this is a teaser for next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Kennedy put this in the end as like a little extra.
I hope the Dodgers make it to the finals just to lose to the Yankees.
Absolutely not.
To be honest, the Dodgers got their chip. It's time for another team to get
Yeah,
another one.
honestly.
I'm
Hey, look.
fine with them continuing to go back. I've got no issues. With
Look, you got the Cardinals. They just got Nolan Ariendo. They're going to be dangerous next year. You know, look, the Brewers might come back. A lot of people sleeping on the Brewers, but if Christian Yelich gets going, you know, you can't stop the
They
Brew
have
train.
a chance. They have a chance. Yes.
No, I'm telling you, I think he's gonna be back in his bag this season. I think he's really gonna take.
He's going to be back to MVP form, Christian Yelich. Like, a lot of people forget how good the Brewers are when he's their literal best player.
How good do you think Yu Darvish could be next year?
I think
He could be good.
I think he'll be
I mean,
good.
I think it's potential.
I mean, I was just surprised, you know, how San Diego lured him. You know, I think that'll be interesting.
I
just to see how it all
San Diego
plays
makes all
out.
the right moves, so
Somebody's actually texting me about how excited they are for the Mets. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
So
I know, right? Just because you think you get Francisco Lindor, oh my God! Like you're still the armpit of New York. Get the hell out
Yeah,
of here.
honestly.
I have never once been excited for the Mets.
no, there's
Yeah,
a Subway Series every year. So
I get excited to watch Jacob deGrom, and then I no longer care about the Mets.
I get excited to just see a strikeout by Pete Alonso, and then I know that it's more enjoyment for me because I get to see pain and sadness from Mets fans.
Again.
What? Their misery fills up my cup.
what about the misery of the Red Sox this year now?
Oh, they're just gonna be
They're not
straight
gonna be
bad.
very well. They're not gonna be very well.
They're gonna be as bad as the Orioles are. Okay, like let's be honest.
Well,
Like, the
I
only-
don't know. I don't know. The Orioles are pretty bad.
No, but like they fleeced out everybody. Bogarts is the only guy that they got. Like, let's be real.
Their
That's true.
entire original outfield is no longer there. They're gone.
Like
Absolutely.
everybody, Betts. Like they lost Moustakis. Everybody's gone. Chris
So, like,
Sale.
because when the Marlins got rid of everyone, they, you know, at least you could say Jeter had the ideas of a future. I mean, I don't know where the Red Sox are going in any direction right now. I just can't follow.
They're fleeced out of cap hell. They don't know what they're doing. Their management is shit,
have
and they
any
literally brought back
team.
Cora to manage them again. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like literally, they are as much as a mess as the next team. Like I said, the Orioles, or just probably as worse as the Tigers. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Red Sox still have the name going. That's literally all they have going for them is that every Instagram girl is still going to wear a Boston Red Sox hat because they have.
All because they have
God.
Xander Bogarts. That's the only hat that the Red Sox fans have to hang
The
their hat
only
on.
hope they have.
Yeah.
And then when, God knows when he gets traded.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, that seems to be their trend. So next year, Bogarts is gone.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see the Chicago White Sox be competitive.
Mhm.
Oh, they're gonna be a team to watch this year. I'm excited for them.
I'm still surprised that they got Tony La Russa to come out of retirement to coach that team.
I'm not surprised. I think People got
Yeah,
bored
that'll
in
be
quarantine.
Yeah.
They want change.
But I mean, like, to get a manager like him, they might as well have just gotten Ozzie Guillen. Like, if you're going to talk about retread managers from the past, not saying I'm not discrediting Tony La Russa. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a 3-time World Series manager. But, I mean, to me, he's a fossil. The game's passed him by, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see it. I'm excited. Again,
We'll see how he does. He might have a two up his sleeve that we don't expect.
Look, all I have to say is don't screw up Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely.
You cannot screw your 2 franchise players, for the next few years, or else Minnesota's just going to keep winning that division and get exited in the first round.
Mm-hmm. I think Abreu's going to make a run for MVP this season. Absolutely.
I feel like Tim Anderson could definitely do it. I feel like he could have done it last year, but then he got hot and then he got really, really cold.
Yeah.
He's just gotta like be more consistent.
Consistency, yeah, definitely.
But,
well, this was a fun extra.
This is like a fun outtake. This is
yeah, I know.
I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, I mean, thank you. I guess do I close it out again? Thank you for joining us. On Girls on Deck, this is the outtakes. Maybe we'll do some All right, see you guys.
Take it easy.
All right, see you.